Hi again everybody, from Nathan and Montana and the puppies. We're here today just to let you know how you can get involved with fostering, rehabilitating, learning to become a dog whisperer or a dog listener, learning to be an assessor, assisting people at pounds or shelters in reading the body language and choosing the appropriate animals to be rehomed. Instead of all of us complaining about these wrong dogs, and every one of these in these pictures you see was destined to be euthanized as a result of either aggression or a similar sort of behaviour. Good girl, Georgia. Good girl. So in teaching people, instead of just complaining about it, in getting involved by volunteering to walk a dog if you can't actually look after dogs yourself. Good girl. And you can't have animals at your property or within your care for whatever reason. There's many opportunities and many ways you can still help the animals. Good boy, Charlie. Help me by figuring out how to kill Wandering Jew. That'd be fantastic as well. I've tried many different ways. It's terrible. So yeah, if you can't actually have a dog like on your premises and things like that, and if we've got some elderly people or people who aren't really very mobile or able to exercise their dogs as a result of work and things like this, but they can look after them in the evenings or give them attention, well, what about we try utilising A and B? If you can walk the dogs and we can get somebody else who can house the dogs but can't walk them, that's an extra animal finding a home. We're going to be able to utilise resources to get people who can't drive, and if they're unable to make it to dog parks or shelters, if you want to have a doggy day out with your non-foster pet and go and interact, learn some behavioural advice with some of our foster or rehabilitating animals, we're going to look at asking clubs and pubs and anywhere that's got a minibus that for an hour a week, if we can get an RSL, good boy Charlie, if we can get an RSL to go around and pick up people within the community, drop them off at a dog park and at a shelter or volunteer centre, then we can get a pub or a club or whatever organisation, a golf club, to lend us their bus driver and bus for an hour, or if we've got a certified bus driver and can put it on their insurance, because it's going to be Australia-wide. If you've got an organisation that want to help in South Australia, in Perth, in Brisbane, Melbourne, Northern Territory, Tasmania, it doesn't matter. The systems that we're setting up and the way we're organising this is a group effort. So we can utilise that club bus for the hour for the return. So it's really only needing 1 or 2 hours a week from a lot of different areas in communities. If you can't have animals, you're allergic to them, your partner or whatever else, and want to get involved, but you might be a builder, or you might work in stationery, or you might do web design, or you might have time at home with the kids, but you can't have animals. Well, we can still utilise you to help volunteer with us. We need people to do web posting and get information out about events and training advice and seminars, and good boy, Beachy boy. Good boys and girls. It's not very ladylike, Miss Penelope, but that's cool. Yeah, so we can still use your resources. If you travel a lot and you work away and you can't have animals, or you can't do a lot of the things or look after them or really have time to walk them, there's still ways you can help if you want to. We can transport animals that sometimes only need 1 or 2 hours as leeway. Generally it's 24 to 48 hours becomes the emergency period time, but if you're travelling from point A to point B, we can put a towel and dog-proof and hair-proof sanitised cages or area in that vehicle and transport it from Grafton to Tweed Heads, or get it from Grafton to Port Macquarie and then someone from Port Macquarie to etc, etc. Maybe just if you're home every 5th weekend and can't have an animal, put that down on the roster. When we've got these emergency ones, we can then utilise that. There's millions of ways to be able to foster, volunteer or help. If you're inclined or want to assist in learning about what animals are really saying, making a difference in some way, whether it's a cat, a dog, a bunny, a horse, it doesn't really matter. We've got resources and facilities all across Australia now that have just started a new organisation. we're going to look at helping the wider community in all aspects of animals. So I want to be a big part of that and would like to help people in return with free advice or discounted advice if I come to your home at like ridiculously cheap. I'd prefer to do seminars where we teach people and teach a group of people for $5 or $10 that we can donate, or kids for $1 a kid at a school talk, where we teach the masses how to teach the other people out there. If you care enough to come and get involved, we'll care enough to help you. And then when you see a problem at a barbecue or a little dog that's being not really mistreated intentionally, but having the wrong sort of messages sent by their owners, this can potentially lead to that animal ending up in shelters, pounds or somewhere else. So you can volunteer or help even by learning behaviour and fixing it when you see it in a dog park or at a barbecue or at a friend's house. They might not have the money or the desire to get involved, and you might not really have the ability to be 100% fostering or looking after a rehabilitation dog, because there's a lot to be considered when you're actually fostering and doing it. Not everyone's actually applicable. Most people are able to assist and help in the majority of cases in the area they want. And those who can't do it in the area they want, I guarantee we've got 15,000 other spots we can do. We're going to look at trying to stop puppy mills and things along those lines through Oscar's Law. Please have a look at that if you haven't. That's one of the major points I believe in, and Montana being we, that is. We've got systems and things hoping that we can get a large desexing programs across Australia. If we desex every animal that's, that comes into a shelter or a pound, unless you apply for whatever reason, and everyone can apply, and you don't have to desex your animal, but if it's in there and it doesn't have an owner, before it goes out or into anything, everyone thinks it should be law and it should just happen that they get desexed. Well, this isn't case. Let's just make it any animal that gets desexed. And I mean, if we've got all these other animals, why do we need... If we've got pet stores that sell animals and they can prove where they come from responsible breeders and things along those lines, I don't personally have a problem with it. Some of the people I'm friends with do. I don't. I've got friends who do breed their dogs and do things and find those owners, and then when the animals can't find a home, they come back to that breeder and then they find another thing. It's their responsibility. They created the life, they need to look after it until the end of its life, even if it's not with them. Sort of like a child. If they get divorced or go away and then come back and ask for help, you really should help them. This is just another extension of that. So if you want to help in any way, manner, shape or form, might even be just bake a cake for one of our volunteer days that we raffle off at $1 a piece, or for the whole cake, whatever it may be. That'd be fantastic. Please get in touch with us and we'll help you. Help them. Cats, dogs and horses. You're a good boy, Charlie. And we'll get this thing on the roll. Take care from Nathan and Montana. All the puppies. Good boy. We'll speak to you soon. Bye. You're a good boy.